We should wait for some time, or?
Abhi, you can start
Hello,
now,
Ankush.
Abhi.
How is your
Okay.
Ganesh Chaturthi? All good?
Yeah, it is good. It is good. I spent it really well.
Yeah, let's wait 1 more minute. After that, we'll start.
Okay.
Talk about today.
We are going to find what Mars has gifted to Earth and Moon. Sorry, Abhi and Moon.
Yeah, what's
We are going to see
what
today.
is Mars gifting Abhi and Moon?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. What did you ask me?
What what is Mars gifting Abhi and Moon?
Yeah, we are going to see today. We are going to see. We wait for a little more, few more minutes. Maybe another 2-3 minutes. I'll tell you.
Okay, we can start, Abhi.
Okay. So, hi again. So we saw some of the things from the last week. We saw all the characters. So just to quickly revise you, it is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And we saw a little bit about the asteroid belt, that is the line separating between Mars and Jupiter. So what did we see? So we saw about the two moons of Mars, that is Deimos and Phobos. And Deimos and Phobos used to be an asteroid. They got pushed by the Jupiter's gravity towards Mars, and they got captured by it. Uh, one second. So they are made of many elements. They are irregular in shape, and they rarely come in round shapes. They might hit us in the next couple of centuries, or might be even before that as well. So we are sending all the space probes to go and capture it. There is one that is going to happen in October of 2020, where we are going to get a small chunk of rock from an asteroid called Bennu. And these are the very oldest rocks. They are like the very oldest known chocolate of the universe. So we are going to see that. So what did we see last time? So Mars gifted something. So we said, wow, Mars, you're awesome. And we got a gift that came through a parachute from the sky. And it got landed on the Earth. And we are going to know what it is. So that is for today. What did Mars gift Abhi and Moon? So what did he gift? And it's a telescope. So what we got from Mars was a telescope. So what kind of a telescope it is? So I said, wow, thanks Mars. It's a telescope, but it looks slightly different. It is a reflecting telescope. Mine is a refracting kind of telescope, said Mars. Oh, it doesn't look much different. It looks more or less the same. One looks big, one looks small. So I said, I can't tell any difference. One is small, the other is long. That's all. That's not all. There are many types of telescopes. We only know one type of telescope, probably. There is a term called telescope. But what is a telescope? So Mars started telling about what is a radio telescope. Have you heard of a radio telescope? I said, we have never heard of any telescopes. Tell us what it is. And we are going to know about this telescope now. So it is a telescope is something. It's a electromagnetic radiation. There is a lot of things that are happening in the sky. We can see a light. We can see the stars. We can see our sun. But each one of them is very different. We call everything as one called electromagnetic radiation. But Moon was a little doubtful. Oh, isn't radiation harmful? For which Mars said, not all radiations. Only few like gamma and UV are harmful. They are like very hot and they can sometimes burn things. That's why they are called as gamma radiations and UV radiations. So Possibly there are a lot of people who started working with telescopes, but the earliest known people, they are from the time between 1400s to 1500s. Lepre, Janssen, Maytos, and all these people from the European area, they started putting their eyes in the sky and started seeing things one after the other. And we don't know who started it, but we know someone who is very close to us. The person who found Jupiter, that is Galileo. So Galileo was the first person who found the Galilean moons, all these small round things that were rotating around the planet of Jupiter. So he was the first guy who made use of telescope with a very big use. Next, it was Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton founded a lot of universes, big questions using telescope. So he also used one kind of telescope. What is that telescope? So we are going to know about it. So there are a lot of telescopes. One is called radio telescope, infrared telescope, optical telescope. So lot of telescopes. We'll go one by one. So why do we need this? So when you start seeing something, you will always have a color. That is, the first thing that you see is red, green and blue. Or you can say that you can see the colors of the rainbow. But sometimes there are things beyond the color of the rainbow. There are also colors like ultraviolet color, that is beyond the spectrum of violet color. And there are infrared colors, that is beyond the color of red. So when you compare it with your normal photograph that is taken from the space, some of them are very colorful like this, but some of them have hidden information which are known only through infrared imagery. So I'll tell you one big thing that is going to happen. In the year 2021, that is just 1 year from now, we are going to send a very big telescope to the space. That is even bigger than the known telescope that we already know. Hubble is a space telescope which is right now in a polar region, that is moving above our axis of our Earth. It is in the launch synchronous of our polar region. It is like some 570 kilometers away from our Earth's surface. And we are going to put another telescope that is called James Webb Telescope or JW's telescope, that is about 1.5 million kilometers. That is thrice the distance between Earth and the Moon. So 3 times the distance. So this is very big, very big. So it is like as big as a tennis court. So it's about 69 feet and 46 feet big. And Moon got a question. Oh, is that the biggest? No, not at all. There are even more bigger telescopes than that in the Earth. They are called as radio telescopes. What are they? They are like very big dish antenna. Some of them have been, if you have seen movie 2.0, you would have seen a very big telescope like this, radio telescope, that got featured in the end of the movie, in the Endiran 2.0 movie. So these are very big, they are very massive. They are in the size of one big mountain. So one Arecibo observatory in Puerto Rico is as big as like 3 football fields. You can run from one end of the other. It will take you at least 5 minutes to run. That big, it is so big, so massive. So with that, we can look far deep into the sky, and you can see a lot of information about what is a pulsar, what is a quasar. We are going to see all these things in the later episodes, but this is something very unique. We astronomers, we budding astronomers will take our telescopes, point it at a different distant star, and we'll observe what are the changes that are happening. Not only that, we'll also observe things that are much closer. Something that we need to do is using infrared telescopes. Last week I told you about how Bennu is right now piggybacking with OSIRIS-REx spacecraft, right? So once after the other, and this becomes a reason for you to see what is happening on the surface of Bennu. So they use hot materials that are already kept there so that they can capture that as an information. This is infrared telescope. And And we also know that Jupiter is a very gaseous planet full of hydrogen and helium. It is very hot. It is always spinning fastest. You know, it already won the gold medal for spinning the fastest in the competition. And since it is spinning very fast, it is always filled with hot gases. So this particular image, it is taken from Jupiter's orbit, shows how heat is shown there. One place it is around 1500 degrees, another place it is around 3000 degrees. So it is very hot. So the hot gas that is present on the surface of Jupiter is holding it together. It is like a very hot and churning chocolate drink. Very, very hot. You can't drink the chocolate, it is very hot. And how do they build this telescope? They use two methods. One is refracting, another is reflecting. And these are very simple. You can say it like a easy way. When you see something through a tube, it is called refracting. And when you have a mirror that you see in front of a mirror, it is called reflecting. So with this, they have made a lot of compounded way also. So a simple refracting telescope, this is called dioptric, where one person looks at the tube. They have two different lenses. They can focus on a very distant object. These are some of the telescopes. This is what Mars had when we landed and when we saw him in the house. Next is reflecting. That is what Mars gifted us. So this has one eyepiece and there is a very small mirror, and that it will be able to reflect out the light from the far object. So this is an example of a reflecting telescope. Next is a combination of both. It's called a Schmidt-Cassegrain. So this has a small mirror in the front, and that eyepiece is kept at the far distance. So it will focus the light to another point in the viewing space. Then with a corrected mirror, this is a little made to such a way that you can cover a large space. So comparing all these things, so what is Cassegrain, what is reflector, what is refractor, all these things made use of the telescope's use. Next is ultraviolet. Now I told you about what are the telescopes that you can see from the Earth's point of view. Now when we fly above the surface of Earth, there is a very thick atmosphere. About 10 kilometers of atmosphere is there. We can't see all the radiation because Earth is protected by a lot of ozone, gases that are present in the atmosphere. So beyond this 10-kilometer range, we have to place some of the telescopes in orbit. So this becomes ultraviolet telescopes. They can see even further into the space to find small changes in the stars and the nebula. What's a star? What is a nebula? It can be said like when I am just 3 years old, I am called as a nebula. I am just budding, very small person. But when I become very old, and now I am around 33 years old, I am a very old person, I become a star. So nebula is a very small baby star. It becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and it grows into a very big star. Okay. Is it better now? My voice is better now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So next is X-ray. You know what is X-ray used for? It is, we can able to see our internal bones. So all the calcium that is present in our body, we go to the doctor. Doctor says, doctor, I have one pain in my tooth, and he says, go take X-ray. So we also sometimes need to take care of the planets. So we take them to the X-ray telescope. They photograph them and say what is inside, what are the bones that are present inside. Bones are calcium. So apart from that, they can also see other elements also. So that is why you use X-ray telescopes. So you can see what are the different features of a planet or a star using X-ray telescopes also. Next is gamma ray. Gamma ray is very powerful. When a star dies, that is, our star will eventually die some 5 billion years from now. It can either become a white dwarf, or it will become a slowly permanent protostar. We don't know what is going to happen, but when it dies, it will send out lot of gamma rays. So it is very super hot energy. It will travel millions and billions of kilometers, and it will eventually be captured by a small satellite. This satellite is called a gamma ray telescope, which will capture that and will tell us how far this light came from. So this is very, 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 very far into the night sky, a star which is around 10 billion light years away, and when you observe it, it is a very small red dot. That's all. It's a very small red dot. Using ultraviolet imaging, we found this. And when you compare it, when you take an image of a nebula using all the known telescopes, using radio telescope, infrared telescope, visible telescope, each one will tell one different information. See, this is a nebula, that is a cluster of all superforming stars. So one is seen in different colors. Next is seen through Hubble telescope. It's a visible light telescope. It shows in all the colors. Next, you have to see inside of it, even more closer to it. You can use X-ray telescopes, and the last one you can see is in high energy telescopes. So what are the parts in it? So we have a lot of optical tubes, very big tubes. You can have mounts, you can able to move it left and right and turn things. You have a finder scope, you can able to point at things perfectly. You can have an eyepiece which has variable different measures of viewing. Next, you can able to magnify it. Why do you need all these things? So that you can see what is close and what is far. So next, you can able to see how big you can make a Saturn. So we are going to see Saturn in the next episode. So this is going to give you a much more detail of how to see the Saturn. Then you can change power. This is all made use of the power of a telescope that we built. And the amount of light. See how dark our sky is depending on all the light that is getting scattered through our atmosphere. We can change that by making our telescope very sensitive to very small light. And we know what is the best we can do. We can buy telescopes that are available in the market. Best is reflector telescopes. We can able to get computerized Cassegrain telescopes that you can mount. It is very costly, but even still it is very compact, it is very small. Then you can have variable of colors and contrast. It is from very long distance faint light of a star to very close by objects like the moon. And this is all regarding the optics of it. So when you have smaller lens, you can capture very small light, and we have bigger lens and bigger optics, you can see a larger range of stars and planetary objects. Next, what are the mounts that you see? The one is equatorial mount, where you can point at a star, you can move on its axis and find where it is moving. So that is equatorial. Next is altitude azimuth. So it is similar to what is equatorial, but instead of pointing at one direction, you can turn it in any direction. Next is motorized. It is even more costlier, but you can able to see all the things in the night sky by connecting it to your computer. Next, all the mounts, all the types of mounts that are there. And we also know certain ways in which you can able to assemble and dismantle these things. Next, you don't need to have telescope at all. You can even use your mom and dad's cell phone. There is a lot of apps that you can use to point at the sky and see the stars and the planetary objects. So you can look at it by your smartphone. So these are the increasing levels of complicated telescopes that we can build. With a lot of money, you can make a lot of telescopes, but we are not going to do this now. What we are going to do is we are going to make our own small simple telescope using the known things that we already have. Everybody has a lens. You have magnifying lens at your home. So using the magnifying lens, a sheet of cardboard, some pencil and paper, and with a little bit of scissors and tape, you can make your own telescope. I will share this with you in the group so that you can able to make it on your own. It's a very small step. You can do it in less than 20 minutes. You can do your own telescope. all these things are required. It's very available. It is easily available at your stationery shop or in your nearest space. So what you can see the nearest object, that is the moon, through your simple telescope. It will be very unique. You can able to try it out on your own. So you know what happens then. So everybody will be happy to see the moon up close like me. So what are we discovering here? What are the things that we can see? So you can see a lot of stars using the telescope. You can see a lot of nebula, a very, very far nebula, even a galaxy you can see. You can see the Saturn sometimes. It will be even more beautiful to see Saturn at the night sky. And you can also make use of your computer to take astrophotography. Astrophotography is like taking lot of images of the same space every day for about 20-30 minutes, and you can combine them to make a large image. So now we are coming to the end of the story. So I was surprised. I was saying, wow. And we congratulated Mars for sharing all his knowledge. You are awesome. So I think we hoped something we learned today. And suddenly something came and hit our telescope, and our telescope flew away. Kind of sound was coming in the background. What is it? It looks like a toy from Earth. And it brought the telescope from the back and it showed it to us. Kind of sound was making. So Mars got angry again. Damn it. Earth is playing with his toy. Plays in my again. Oh my god, I got so angry. So it left. It left. Both of them left in the opposite side. And obviously Mars doesn't like all the toys getting left by Earth at his place. So he is searching for Earth. Damn it, Earth, are you playing with my toys here? He shouted, seeing whether the Earth is nearby. But he was not there. Oh no, our telescope. They are running around our place. They ran away with our telescope. Oh no, telescope is now gone. We had it for just 5 minutes and it got away with the 2 toys of Earth. So where did they go? So that is the question. Where did Earth's toys go? So we're going to find it. Oh, it's going again. So this is going to be the topic for the episode 5. Where did Earth's robot go? So we are going to search it with Mars, me, Moon, and Mars is going to search for the robot, and we are going to recover our telescope. So let's hope to find it. So what did we see today? We saw what is a telescope, what are the types of telescope. There are radio telescope, infrared telescopes, gamma ray telescopes to see very far distant objects like stars, and what are the parts of a telescope. How much does it cost? How to make a telescope? This is a very simple telescope that you can do with your household things or your stationary things. That's it for today. So we're going to search for the telescope that we lost today in the next episode. Yes. Done. Hey, thank you. Okay, I will send you, I've made some small lenses so that we can do it later. So I've made some transparent lenses and all these things. So I will share that document to Divya ma'am and to you. And probably you can share it in the group and children can make their own telescopes. Thank you. How many of you want to make telescope at your home? Oh, everybody wants to make. Okay, super. Have you had a telescope? Have you ever had your own telescope before? Oh, you had. Okay. My first telescope, I got it at the age of 12. I started seeing the moon every day. I was pointing at whether I can able to find Jupiter, but Jupiter was very far, so I had to only stick to moon for the very first time. So moon became a very good friend of me after that, from the age of 12. Any questions? Anybody has any questions? No questions? Okay. How about you, Ramya ma'am, and you? Any questions? No questions. Okay.
No questions.
Okay. Were you expecting any other gift, or was this gift not okay?
Do you have any questions?
What
Are
other?
these Phobos cousins of the moon?
Oh, you wanted to meet the cousins of the moon, Deimos and Phobos.
You are
Okay.
mute, Abhi.
Okay. Sorry. So you wanted to meet Deimos and Phobos more. Okay.
I'm asking, are they cousins of the moon?
They are distant cousins. When Earth started forming, that is like 5 billion years ago, everybody were related somehow. So we had rocks that were floating in the distant sky. Some of the rocks very close to our Earth. So the rocks that were very close to Earth, they all formed into a big chunk called moon. But those that were very far away became asteroids. So over many billions of years, they have become distant cousins. Okay, I will ask you one small question. Okay, can you name your grandfather's name? What is your grandfather's name? Name of your grandfather?
Karunanidhi, sir.
Karunanidhi.
Okay, and what is his grandfather's name?
Karunanidhi. Loganaditya.
Okay, what is his grandfather's name?
Pachamaniam.
Okay, so like that, if you keep on going some 500 times backward, everybody will have the same grandfather. Yeah, even my grandfather with great another 500 greats if I put, everybody will have the same grandfather's name. So that is how moon and Deimos and Phobos would have been related. So everybody would have had the same great grandfather some millions of years ago. Too tough, too complicated to understand, I think.
You can ask some questions.
Yeah.
Random questions.
Okay. I'll ask some question about last week because that will be more interesting. There are other kinds of shape when an asteroid can form. Can anyone tell me what all the shapes that an asteroid can form into? I told you two specific kind of shapes that Deimos and Phobos look like. What does it look?
Oval.
Okay.
I mean a peanut.
Okay, it's a peanut. Okay.
And a potato.
And a potato. Okay. But there is another very recent asteroid which never even came into that shape. Not even a potato, not even a peanut. It looked like a long stone. It looked like a, how do you say? It looked like your javelin. You know what is a javelin? It's a long stick that you can throw and you can hit a target. It looked like a javelin. It's a very long rock. It's called Oumuamua. 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 So I will share about it in a different way, but it looks like a long stone which is tumbling and tossing in the sky. It came and visited us in 2017. We don't know when it is coming back. It is very far away. And I'll ask one more question. When is the satellite OSIRIS-REx coming back to Earth? You can use that Pringles box to make telescope also. Yeah. When is
2020.
2020?
2023.
Ah, yes, 2023. Good. October of 2023, it is coming back with the rock chocolate. Who saw Yendran 2 movie? Who someone said they saw Yendran 2 movie? Everybody saw. Okay. What is the telescope? What is the telescope that is shown in the Yendran 2 that the eagle will be captured in it? That Pakshi Rajan eagle will be captured by that telescope.
Eagle.
No, it is an eagle, correct. But what is the name of the telescope? That there is a very round dish. It will send signal, and the eagle will be stuck in the same space. Okay, I'll give you options. Just choose one. Is it gamma? Is it X-ray? Is it radio? What is it? What is it? Okay, someone.
Gamma.
No, it is not gamma.
Radio.
Yes, it is radio. Yes. So the eagle gets captured in the radio telescope. They will send a signal, and the eagle will be captured, and he will turn into Pakshi Rajan. But it is not actually true. It is just in movie that you can do this, but in reality, it is not possible. You can't capture eagle using radio telescope. Anything else?
Anybody has any questions to ask? Sana, you have any questions, dear?
Okay. We'll close the session.
Yes, Abhi. Thanks for the session. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see next week. Where did the robot go?
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, Sanarian. Bye, Ishan. Bye. Bye, Ajit.
Bye, uncle.
Bye, bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, Sana. Bye, Aryan.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, dear. You can leave the session. Yes, bye.